Joining me now to continue the conversation, the host of the Ben Shapiro Show, Ben Shapiro. You know, Ben, in some ways, as I mentioned, this is a decade old. It's convoluted. You have to keep up with the, let's call it month-to-month soap opera. But here we have the latest evidence. And as we take it into its full account, what do you see here, Ben?
Well, I mean, again, there are two ways to read this. One is that this was an email that looks like a smoking gun. And if the email is real, then it is a smoking gun. If the email is real, then it shows associates of Hillary Clinton literally saying that Hillary approved of a plan to rev up all of the Russiagate nonsense in order to distract from her emails. And that would be just the ultimate smoking gun in all this. Or theoretically, it could be fake. And if it was fake and the intelligence community knew it was fake, that raises some additional questions for the intelligence community. Namely, why didn't they treat, for example, the Steele dossier with the same level of skepticism that they treated this email that they intercepted from the Russians? Why is it the Steele dossier was treated as though it was essentially credible, so much so that the FBI Director James Comey presented it to the president-elect Donald Trump in January as though there might be something there? So it demonstrates a massive double standard in how any revelation is treated. If it's bad for Democrats, then it's treated as Russian disinformation. If it's bad for Republicans, it's treated as possibly credible.
But let me take you up on your two options, Ben. Okay, and I'm going to appeal to the common sense of our viewers. Just use simple reason. On one hand, it's, as you point out, smoking gun evidence against Hillary Rodham Clinton. Well, we already know that the Steele dossier was funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign through Fusion GPS. So we know some level of evidence already that it's connected to her campaign. This email suggests it goes all the way to HRC. So there's the evidence for that conclusion. If we go the other way, that it was altered or created by Russians and therefore Russian disinformation, well then, Ben, add it to the list. Here's the list, right? Here's all the things that have been claimed to be Russian disinformation. The DNC and John Podesta's emails, the Steele dossier, the Hunter Biden laptop story, the Burisma probe by U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, censorship of the Biden family. All of that has been hand-waved away as Russian disinformation. Why should I now accept that this is too? This is just simply Russian disinfo.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what Democrats have set up for themselves here through all of this is a massive catch-22. Because if it is indeed Russian disinformation, as I mentioned, then why, again, were they trotting out the Steele dossier for legitimately years as a piece of legit possible intelligence supporting things like the illegal FISA surveillance warrant against Carter Page, serving as the predicate for large portions of the Russiagate investigation itself? They should have been more suspicious of the Steele dossier if they were also suspicious of this Hillary Clinton email. If, on the other hand, they're going to treat the Steele dossier with credibility, then why aren't you treating this email with equal credibility? Again, if it turns out that the only mistakes that ever get made are in favor of Democrats and Hillary Rodham Clinton, that says something about the system itself and how corrupt it was from the beginning.
And I think even for our viewers who are simply using common sense, it also defies a reasonable expectation of reality. Hey, this just showed up in the last couple of hours, Ben, but I want to get your reaction. So Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, he posted the following, or he did so on Monday. He said Trump's playing the ultimatum game with Russia, 50 days or 10 days. He should remember two things. Number one, Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. And two, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step toward war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Don't go down the Sleepy Joe road. In response to that, by the way, Donald Trump has now said this: based on those provocative statements of the former president of Russia, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. I don't know if we can just say this is saber rattling, Ben. I mean, I don't think we're on the verge of war with Russia, but that's two guys talking like we're on the verge of war.
Well, I think that one thing President Trump does not like at all, and that is a bunch of empty threats from the Russian administration after he has offered them every possible off-ramp in Ukraine. President Trump came into office, and he basically took a neutral position between Ukraine and Russia and said, I want to negotiate a way out of this. My number one priority is ending this war. He put enormous pressure on Vladimir Zelensky in Ukraine to accept the possibility of a ceasefire, which Zelensky did. And then he went to Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Putin has not moved one iota, has not moved 1 inch, not even for 1 millisecond has he changed his position. And because of that, President Trump shifted his position. And now you have Vladimir Putin saber rattling again. President Trump says, listen, as he once said to Kim Jong-un, you have a little red button. I have a big red button. It is much bigger than your button. And so if you're going to threaten the United States of America, you should just understand that we also have the capacity to threaten. This is not a move that Russia should. Playing chicken with President Trump is a bad game. That is a stupid game to play with the president of the United States.
I agree. We don't want to get into a button measuring contest. Usually weighs out on the side of the United States. All right, Ben Shapiro, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.